This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening and good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining. So, today we'll be focusing on the monitoring aspect of AWS, right? So, last week during the Saturday's class, we tried covering the CloudTrail product, right? The CloudTrail service, where we went ahead and saw like how the user-related activity or the management-related actions are getting captured. So who is doing what and what time they did, with which ID they did, and what was the request response. So all those things were discussed last week. But today we'll be discussing more on the CloudWatch product, okay, and that is more towards centralized monitoring. Okay, is my audio okay? Shall we start?
Yes, Tan.
Yes,
Yeah,
We are okay.
perfect.
yes, done.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So CloudWatch is a service native from Amazon. Okay, AWS provides this service. This is a software as a service where we can go and do very minimal configuration. Okay, and this is, since it is managed service from AWS, we don't have to go and set up any kind of backend environment. We don't have to pay any additional licenses, nothing like that. This is a managed monitoring service. So the backend infrastructure that is needed to have this monitoring enabled, everything is taken care by Amazon Web Services. But what we can do is we can make use of this tool to monitor the activities across different product, different services, different AWS account within your organization. So when I say different AWS products and services, we have been discussing different services, right? So we have been talking about AWS EC2, Lightsail, AWS Network, AWS S3, Glacier, and all those stuff, right? So we have been discussing all those tool sets, all those products and services, but this particular AWS CloudWatch, this is going to help monitor and observe those actions that are happening. So this is more of a observability tool, or it's more of a monitoring tool for AWS cloud resources specifically, but it's not limited to AWS. Even you can use this CloudWatch to monitor your on-premises systems also, but it's primarily for monitoring the services hosted on AWS platform primarily. Okay, but it can also monitor the applications, because they also provide application insights. They also provide a lot of AWS marketplace services, which can also enhance the monitoring aspect. For example, if you're asking me like application performance monitoring, definitely CloudWatch does provide some kind of tracing and application insights monitoring. But if you want some detailed application performance monitoring, we might have to do some tweaking, or else we can go and utilize the AWS marketplace tools like Prometheus, or you can use New Relic or Dynatrace. So those are all provided as a marketplace service. Okay, you can also use that for deep dive application performance monitoring. But for us, like, we are primarily planning to discuss more on the infrastructure platform, or the infrastructure services like EC2, S3, Lambda, and all those stuff, I mean containers and stuff. But even you can go and use tools like Dynatrace, New Relic, or Prometheus from the marketplace offering from Amazon. Okay, so Amazon CloudWatch or AWS CloudWatch is going to provide you insight on what's happening with each of the services. Okay, it's more of an observability tool. And when we say monitoring, there are three major aspects of monitoring, right? We actually will look closely on how the performance is being provided by different products and services. Okay, so what is the utilization, how much the infrastructure is able to cater the need of the application, so any specific performance issues or degradation to services. So that is the primary thing. So we need to look at the performance utilization in terms of CPU, memory, and if in case of any specific network related connection issues and so on. And next is the health monitoring. When I say health monitoring, whether the server is up, whether the service is up, whether the agent is properly up and running. So we just go and look at the visibility of the health of the system. Next is the availability aspect. Okay, sometimes the server might be out, up, but the application might be down. So it's of no use at the end. At the end, for the customer, the website or the application or the database has to be available. If that is not being made available because of some network choke or because of some ransomware attack or whatever, so the insights are very, very important, right? That is what is going to measure the SLA. Okay, the SLA for the application will be measured on the availability of the web application or the database or the end-to-end application layer, right? So at the end, when we say monitoring, these are the three major areas that any kind of monitoring tool will be focused towards, right? So Amazon CloudWatch, it's more towards troubleshooting, tracing, debugging, diagnosing. So this is more for the operations team, either for live troubleshooting or any kind of debugging the issue or any diagnosis that you want to do, or any kind of tracing or problem management. So this tool is what the operation team will really work day in and day out. Okay. And on the other side of it, okay, so when it comes to monitoring, there are four, or I mean at least four major categories that we need to kind of get some clarity or understanding. Okay, when I say four or five major areas, I'm referring to the metrics, logs, events, alarms, and traces. Okay, so these are the aspects. When it comes to monitoring, you need to have understanding of what these different things are. Okay, what exactly this is bringing to I mean what these components are. Okay, when we talk about metrics, metrics is the real-time data or the live numerical data. So if I want to make you guys understand it very quickly, see, for example, if you go to your Windows or any system, you have the task manager. What exactly this is providing? It is providing you kind of live current situation or live current status of how much CPU it is using, how much memory it is consuming. All these are numerical value. Okay, if you look at here, it's all numbers. There is nothing detailed information. It's all providing whether the service is up, whether the consumption is how much is the value. Okay, so it's more about numbers here rather than the detailed information. So when you talk about, okay, let me put it this way, okay, so that I can compare it on a very high level and we can just get it into a detailed discussion. Okay, we are going to discuss more detailed on all these things, but on a very high level, just to make sure you guys understand the difference between this, I'm just trying to compare it. So metrics is the numerical value or the real-time consumption value. It talks about the quality. Okay, so numerical values, or it's a real-time data or live monitoring data, the current real-time monitoring. Okay, so example, your task manager or your performance monitor or your top command in your Linux. Okay, so all these things are kind of live real-time monitoring. So since these are all numbers and some percentage, millisecond, and all those things, the data getting accumulated will be very light size. Okay, light sized data. Okay, it is not going to be very huge size. And see, the data utilization or data consumption will be very less. Okay, when you compare it with the logs is completely different, right? It talks about what has happened in the past. Okay, whether the server went down, whether the service went down, what was the error, who accessed it. So if you look at the event viewer, it gives you a lot of detailed information. It gives you an event ID, it gives you the error message, it gives you the description, and it also gives you what time it happened, who made this issue, or what made this downtime. So it provides you a detailed log information. So logs are near real time. It's not completely live, because like sometimes the logs might get accumulated in every 5 minutes or every 10 minutes. It depends on how the application is configured to reproduce the logs, or how the application is configured to send the log information. Okay, some operating system logs you might get it live real time, but it's not completely live, but it's near real time. Okay, so these are all completely text values or text information. It is very detailed information. Since these are very detailed text information, the the consumption of the storage will be little higher, because you need a lot of log files getting generated, and the data consumption will be moderate. It will not be very high, but it depends. Okay, if there is a major issue or if there is a ransomware attack, definitely it will quickly populate the lot of log files, and that's where the database application or many systems, they keep the logs and database in different partition or volume. If one of them gets accumulated very quickly, it should not impact the other the entire application or service. Okay, so log files are little slightly heavy or moderate in size, since it provides you detailed information, detailed set of information. Okay, so it gives you the information about the issue, the event ID, it talks about the description, it gives you detailed data. Okay, you all are following me, right? So if you just go to the event viewer for an example, okay, you can just try to compare it quickly. Most of you are from Windows background, right? If you go to var log messages, you also understand that it gives you a lot of messages there also. See, if you look at here, it gives you a lot of detailed information. See, there are a lot of events generated, and let me just give it a minute for this to load. Okay, and this is where it gives you very detailed information. See, it gives you a lot of details. It talks about what happened. It gives you a lot of additional data. Okay, and it also gives you a lot of information here. So these are all information: who logged in, from which computer they logged in, what time they logged in, what was the issue, whether the service went problematic, or what exactly is the details of the error. So all these things are captured in a very detailed way. So that's what we call it as logs, or that's what we call it as log information. So comparing it to the events and logs might be very similar, but events, it's all stuff that are getting generated. Okay, see, for example, if you want to trigger a particular snapshot at a particular time, or if you want to do some activity based on a new event. See, for example, when someone is uploading a file to a particular S3 bucket, okay, so that event can trigger one more action. Okay, you can just go and convert that document file to a PDF, or you can just, based on the new request, you can go and order a particular product or whatever, right? So event is generally a kind of happening, or it's just a kind of thing that has got triggered. Okay, it is like it records the API calls or a particular event or a particular task. Okay, it's about what's going on. So you can just go and create a rule or create an event. I mean, no, not a create an event. Based on the event, you can also go and create a rule. Okay, so when I say create a rule, I'll just give you some examples at the a little later. So you can just go and based on a particular time, you can go and schedule a snapshot, or you can just copy a file from one location to another location, and so on. Okay, so metrics is completely different. Metrics is about utilization and memory, network, in and out, all those things. So logs is more about the detailed information getting accumulated. So events is mainly for routing something, or taking a particular task, or processing something based on a particular event. Okay, so alarms. So when something reaches threshold, or if a particular service is down, or a particular event happens. So event is any new file coming in to S3 bucket, or server going down is a event. Okay, or server or like a mass file transfer is a event. So event can be categorized into multiple different things. But alarm is something like when a particular threshold is reached. For example, CPU utilization is continuously hitting 80% for a period of 5 minutes. You can configure an alarm to intimate or notify some specific person or PDL or whatever, right? Traces is more into the application. For example, you can say like you want to do a trace, like how much time it takes to load a website, or how much time it takes from connecting from application to database. So you can also go and configure the traces. So on a high level, when it comes to monitoring, these are the 5 different things that makes the monitoring. Okay, so even if you go to your Amazon CloudWatch, they are also grouping the service into the same way. Okay, let me just a second. Okay, so let me go to CloudWatch. So if you look at the left side of the screen, you can see that they are grouped into the same exact categories that we are talking about. Okay, so logs, alarms, metrics, events, and insights. Okay, so insights and application monitoring is more towards application, but these are the things that it's more towards our infrastructure team or the cloud operations team. Okay, and there is one more topic called dashboard, that is for visualization, that is for just looking at a particular applications consumption or data transfer and all those things. So dashboards is also integral part of your monitoring. You can also have monitoring other than the insight is more for your applications and so on. So let's focus on what is more towards the cloud operations. Let's discuss one by one on the metrics, logs, and events. Let's get to understand how these things are visualized and used. Okay, so let's talk about these things more. So let's talk about metrics. So let's not duplicate the complete thing. I'll just copy this just for quick reference. So as I told you, metrics, it is all about what is happening currently in the systems. So it is data about the performance of the system. Okay, when I say performance of the system, it might be CPU utilization, or it might be network data in, or network packets in, or it might be a memory utilization, or it might be whatever, right? So those are all examples of your performance metrics of your system, right? And these are all variable. It is going to change over the period of time, and CloudWatch can go and provide you a lot of different metrics and dimension for different services. So if I go here, if I go to metrics, if I go to all metrics, so here you can see that there are 567 metrics in North Virginia. And if I go to some other location, for example, let's take Paris. Okay, I've never logged into Paris site. Okay, and I'm just trying to make sure you guys follow the things here. So okay, people are joining in. So guys, today we are talking about CloudWatch, and I could see few people join a little late. So if you look at here under the all metrics, here we are only seeing only 3 metrics. So metrics gets enabled when you go and create a AWS product in that particular region. Okay, it will not be available in all the, see, for example, if I go to Mumbai, or if I go to a different region, Singapore, there might be some different number of metrics, because I might have created or explored some products and services. Only when you go and explore that product in that particular location, the metrics will get created. See, here in this location, I have created some EFS in the past, so that's the reason it has created the EFS. It has enabled the EFS metrics in that particular region. Okay, that also triggers me, like whether some EFS is still there. See, that's the reason. So I've created some EFS during the EFS class in 12th June 2021. Okay, I'm having it still there. Let me delete it. See, there are, this is how you can just go and kind of identify things. Let me delete it. Okay, so this might cost me if I'm just having some data and leaving it. So the understanding you should have is, so when you go and enable or start working on a particular AWS product or services, then the metrics comes populated, or the metrics are available. Okay, so there are many dimensions. Okay, so there are many dimensions to a specific metric. Okay, so if you look at here, you have EC2, EBS, Elastic Beanstalk, RDS, S3, and different things. Okay, so these are all default metrics. I'll also show you today how to create a custom metrics and capture some information about your memory and so on. See, if you look at here, as of now, you are able to see per instance level metric, auto scaling metrics across all the instance metrics. So you are seeing a lot of different metrics here. So these are the metrics which I'm talking about: CPU utilization, network packet in, network packet out, disk read write, and CPU surplus, all those things. But memory will not be available by default. Memory is a custom metrics. I'll show you how to do that. So these are the different metrics that are currently available. Okay, and if I want to just understand how much is the traffic for Stan Linux VM, I can go and select this, and it will populate it will plot how much is the consumption. I just powered off the VM just before the class. But if you want to look at the last 1 week data, you can also go and select 1 week and then find out when the consumption was there. Okay, the system was online for from 16th to 22nd. I powered off the VM to save some cost, and I just powered it on again before the class. See, you can see how much is the consumption, and you can now change it over the period. So you have multiple options here. You can just go and look at in minutes, hours, days, and you can go in a granular way, or you can also change it to absolute to find out a range time. For example, I want to understand only between 20th and 22nd. Okay, I can also change it to absolute and try to find out how much is the utilization from 20th to 22nd. Okay, so you can just go and select as many metrics as you want, and you can create a separate dashboard also. I'll come to that part a little later. So metrics is all about the performance of your system. Okay, what's going on, and you have multiple dimensions in a metric. So metric is a variable. Okay, it's not going to be remaining consistent, right? It's going to change over the period of time. So it's a variable. I would say metric is a variable to monitor. Okay, and they all belong to a specific namespace. When I say namespace, there are these many different namespaces. So you have EC2. EC2 is a namespace. Elastic Beanstalk is a namespace. So under the namespace, multiple metrics are grouped together. Okay, so for EC2 you have a namespace. For EBS you have a namespace. So namespace is a collection of metrics. You have multiple dimensions within your namespace. So, and again, when I say dimension, you need to understand, see, for example, here, these are the dimension: instance name, instance ID, metric name. You can just go on having additional dimension also. So you can have up to 10 dimensions per metric. So dimensions are different, namespace is different. So dimensions is nothing but instance ID, instance name, the metric value, and so on. Okay, so namespace, it's like about EC2, S3, and auto scaling. So these are all some namespaces which has collection of metrics together. And metrics will definitely have a timestamp or a kind of dimension attached to it. So it's like performance versus time. So you can watch the performance of your system over the time. Okay, so it definitely have the timestamps. Okay, metrics have timestamps, and it will show you like at this particular point in time what was the consumption or utilization. And you can also go and create multiple dashboards out of the metrics. Okay, so can create custom dashboards, or there are some default templates also. I'll explain it shortly using metrics. Okay, so the next important thing you need to understand is the types of monitoring that AWS CloudWatch provides. So by default, they provide you basic monitoring. Okay, so basic monitoring is more or like I would say it's 10 to some extent it is free of cost. Okay, in free tier, I think you can go and have up to 10 monitoring metrics, which can be utilized free of cost. With basic monitoring, you get data only up to every 5 minutes. But with detailed monitoring, you get data up to every single minute also. Okay, you get more granular data. Okay, detailed monitoring is additional cost. It incurs additional cost. Okay, so just a second, I'll switch on the light here. Okay, so let me come to this screen here for a minute. So let me open up the EC2. So by default, you get basic monitoring. Okay, so some people, they all think the difference between the basic monitoring and the detailed monitoring is just on the granularity, or when I say granularity, like how frequent you get the data. Okay, so it's not just about that. See, if you go and look at here, by default you will have only basic monitoring that is enabled, and if you want to change it, you can just click on this manage monitoring, and you will get option to go and enable detailed monitoring. So, and as I told you here, so it is going to add you more cost for detailed monitoring. So cost is one aspect, but on the other side of it, very important is if you have something like auto scaling. Okay, if you are only getting data every 5 minutes, the auto scaling might not react very quickly. Okay, so auto scaling, if you have integration with detailed monitoring, then it can scale up and scale down faster. Okay, so just be aware of it, and even with basic monitoring, you get a limited number of metrics that are for free. But if you go beyond that, then you have to pay for that. Okay, and you can also go and configure custom metrics, like if your organization is having some specific application or some scripts or some when I say scripts, it can be written in multiple languages like Python, Perl, and different languages. Even you can use PowerShell scripts. Using that, you will be able to capture the performance of your system and application. So a lot of organizations, if they are not able to get the level of monitoring using the native AWS Cloudwatch, they also use some custom scripts which they have developed for their application also. Okay, so in AWS, you have a tool called Metrics Explorer that will give you to that gives you an option to go and explore what's going on. So Metrics Explorer is the tool. You can just go and create your own chart, or you can just go and find out some generic templates. You can go and find out EC2 instances by different types. So I have got only T2 micro systems up and running. I have not created different instance type. So if you have different instance types, it will show you like this T2 micro is having this much consumption, and maybe you can just go and work with the customer to right size it, or to change the instance type and save some cost for them. So for metrics, Amazon is providing you a tool called Metrics Explorer, using which you can explore different performance information about your AWS products and services. Okay, so let's look at here. So if you want to enable detailed monitoring, you will get more granular data, but you have to pay in something, I mean, pay little addition stuff. And the other important thing is the auto scaling aspect. Okay, so integration with auto scaling group will will scale faster. Okay, because you get very detailed monitoring every 1 minute you are getting data, and based on that it can scale up and scale down the system as required. Okay, so this is one area, and you can just have some more dimensions to it. You can just go and check a few more information. Okay, so let me confirm and replace the template. You can also go and create, and you can also add it to dashboard, and if you want to have little granular information also, you can just go and change it. But let's do one thing. Let me go and check what's going on with my system. See, if you look at here, as of now I'm getting the information. You can also go and change it to every single second or every single minute. And okay, 20th to 22nd, I don't have any average data. You can just go and check the sum of the data. See, whenever you go and look at utilization, it's all always better to go and get it in what do you call some statistics, because on an average, if you're looking at average data, might be a little less, but the sum might be giving you the clear statistics and the detailed information. So let me just try to change the widget here. Okay, let me just. Okay, the consumption is very low, but that's fine. So what I can do is I can just go and browse again. See, I think I have enabled detailed monitoring on one of the instance. See, that is how you go and enable it. You select it here, you go to actions, you go to monitor and troubleshoot, and you can enable detailed monitoring here. Okay, so this is one option, or you can just select this, go to monitoring tab, and click on manage detailed monitoring, and you can enable it. It's the same way. Okay, so you can go and enable detailed monitoring if in case your organization is looking for very granular information. Okay, so custom metrics, I'll talk about it. Okay, it's mainly about see, even if you want to have memory utilization, that is also a kind of custom metric. So let's complete that part. Okay, let's go and see how we can get the memory utilization or any specific additional data. Okay, so here, let me see. I've got three different systems, one Windows, one Linux, and one Ubuntu system, so that we can just play around with the data. So here, if I go to my monitoring section, I'll be able to see the data for the CPU, disk, network, but I'm not getting the data for memory. Okay, so if you want to have that memory data, first thing you need to enable detailed monitoring, and you also need to have the custom metrics enabled within your system. And in order to do that, you need to have the agent installed. So when I say talk about agent, so we used to have some legacy agent in the past. Okay, so CloudWatch legacy agent, it's the old agent. Okay, but now they have got an unified agent. Okay, that can get you all different dimensions of your system. Okay, so we have got a unified agent which was launched few years, recent past, which gives you very detailed information. So I'll come to that. I'll come to the explanation about the difference between the legacy agent and the unified agent. But let's go and log into the system and let's try doing it. So let me connect to the system. Okay, let me connect. Okay. So in order to install the unified agent, you have to download it from the repository. So how many of you are practicing effectively? How many of you are going through the labs that are there in your Access Google Drive? So there are around 50 labs that I've given you access, right? See, if you practice these 50 labs, that itself will be more than sufficient. Okay, for example, like how to install the unified agent, how to enable custom metrics, how to integrate CloudWatch with CloudTrail. So all these labs are very useful. It will not take maximum. It will take 4 to 5 hours to complete all these labs. So if you are able to complete these labs, you can feel little better. Okay, I can show you some samples here. So if you go to this particular lab, so this is one of the lab, like lab 45. Okay, and you can just follow the exact same step-by-step procedure. So there is it is very clear. It is also having screenshots. You don't have to uh, refer anything else. Okay, it's pretty straightforward. See, if you want to install the unified agent, the very first step is to have the permission. Okay, so as of now, let me go and check the permission here. If I go and check the permission, let me go to instances, select that specific instance, go to actions, and let me check the security aspect. Let me check if there is any. Okay, so as of now, it is only having SSM role added to this particular EC2. But for me, like I want to use the CloudWatch integration. So in order to do that, so I need to go and create a particular role with this particular policy, CloudWatch agent server policy. So let me do that. So go to your IAM. Okay, let me just bookmark it. Next week or next to next week, we'll discuss on IAM also, right? So let me just add this, select the IAM. Okay, so here I can just go to my role and I can create a new role. So here, what I want to do is I want to have EC2 access to CloudWatch. So I can select EC2. If you are looking for some other service, you can just go and select the other AWS service here. But now I'm just going to use the EC2, which is a common use case, and click next. So here under the policy, this is where you go and search for the specific policy. These are all default policy, the CloudWatch agent policy. If you go and look at here, it will give you the data. So what it is going to do, this policy allows you to put the metric data into CloudWatch, and it will also go and describe the information from the EC2, and it can go and generate the log stream, or from the EC2 instance. This particular policy will give you permission to store the metrics information on the CloudWatch side. That is the simple thing. Okay, so now I've just selected this particular policy, and I'm going to create a new role with that particular thing. So EC2 CloudWatch policy. Okay, so allow EC2 instance to call AWS service on your behalf. So this is going to call CloudWatch on your behalf, or it is going to call CloudWatch and store metrics on your behalf. I mean, I'll talk about IAM roles a little later, next week or next to next week, we'll discuss about it. But for now, I'm just creating a role. In general, we should not use the default username for any of this activity. Okay, we should use a service account for these kind of monitoring or backup or patching or whatever. Service account is a good practice. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the permission for the EC2 instance with that particular role. Okay, let me go and do that. Okay, so let me just go to EC2 again. Okay, go to Linux, go to actions, modify IAM. I'll just go and select the EC2 CloudWatch policy. This is what we created, right? EC2 CloudWatch. Okay, just a second. I'll confirm. EC2 CloudWatch policy. I have to clean up also. There are too many policies here. So EC2. Okay, this is the one, because if you look at here, this one was used 299 days back. So this is the one, EC2 CloudWatch policy. Okay, perfect. Save it. You can also go and create a new role there itself, that the same activity you can just go and do it from there itself. Okay, now I have just logged into the system. Now I have to go and download the agent for the specific operating system. So if you go to the particular agent download link, you will be able to get the agent for unified agent for different operating system. So if I go to this particular screen, you can see that you have access to download all the different agents. Okay, so if you go here, okay, think agent, just a second, synthetics. Okay, so you can also just use this direct link. Okay, let me just copy this. I'll also just try to get the okay, one second. AWS Cloudwatch unified agent repository. Okay, so if you go to the site, you will be able to get the download link for all the different operating system. See, you can just see if you want to do it from the command line or from the systems manager, you'll get the download option for each of your operating system versions. Okay, if you scroll down, you can see that this is available for Amazon Linux, and you have it for Linux, the other operating system flavors, CentOS, Red Hat. If you move on to the right, you get the direct download link for Windows, for SUSE Linux, and so on. Okay, so you can just download it. You can follow the exact same steps on how to upgrade it or update it or install it. Let's go and copy the link for this is for the Windows. Okay, so let's go and do it for the Amazon Linux. Let me just run this particular thing. Go and download it. WGET is the command to get the file from the internet, right? So we are going to use the WGET command. Okay, just a second, I'll just log in again. Session manager will be better. Okay, I've terminated. Okay, just a second. I can also try it. So did I show you how to connect from the local machine using the username password without the PIM key? Also, you can do it. Did we try that?
I think we can connect it through system manager also, right? SSM.
Yeah, we can do it. See, I'm just trying to check. Okay, let me do one thing. I'll quickly show you how to. Okay, let's connect first using the instance connect. Okay, I'll show you the other option also. You can directly work from your PowerShell also. Okay, so that way it will be pretty straightforward and easy. Okay, wget. Okay, this is the problem. Okay, let me go to the notepad and make it a single line. Okay, so now I have downloaded the RPM, Red Hat Package Manager, or the package for the CloudWatch Unified Agent. So for the operating system, you can just go to the website here and you can get the latest download link. Okay, I'll update the document also. Okay, so now the next thing is to go and install it. So in order to install it, you can just use the RPM command to install the package. Okay, go to the download location and install the particular RPM package. Okay, so now it's okay, since it is an Amazon Linux, it's already installed, but you can just install the package using this RPM command. You can also try to do yum install also. Yum install Amazon. Okay, Amazon CloudWatch. Yeah, you can also use that command. Okay, okay, it does not update install package. Okay, you can do it, but it has nothing to do because it's already there. Okay, so after installing the package, what you can do is you can go and configure the custom metrics or any additional thing. So in order to do that, you have to copy this. So this is where you have to be very, very careful. Okay, so while configuring the agent. Okay, when you go and run that command, this is going to initiate the CloudWatch agent configuration wizard. Okay, and if you look at here, it is going to ask us what kind of configuration or what kind of metrics you are going to collect from each of your machine. So collecting more metrics, definitely it is going to be additional charges because you are accumulating more logs and demanding more storage space. So here it is asking us what kind of operating system we are planning to install, whether we are installing on Linux or Windows or Debian. And similarly, it is asking us whether we are going to fetch it from the EC2 or from the on-premises. Okay, so now I've selected Linux, I've selected EC2, and it is asking me whether I want to use the which user. I can use the EC2 users, or I can use the root user also, that is fine. And it is asking me whether I want to have the statistics information. For now, let's not collect it. It will gather too much of information. So let's disable the statistics. Even if you want to collect more information using the collect d daemon, collect d is a daemon. Okay, it's a service. In Linux, we call it as daemon, right? So collector service will collect more metrics. As of now, I'll just disable. I don't want to get too many data, but I want to get more metrics. I want to get CPU, memory, and additional metrics. So for this, I have to select one. Okay, and it is asking me whether do you want to monitor CPU metrics per core. I can just say yes. Okay, and it is asking me whether I want to have all the dimensions like image ID, instance ID. I can say yes. Okay, it is asking me whether I want to aggregate them into a particular dimension. Yes, that is fine. And it is asking me how frequently I want to get the monitoring data. So if you're selecting high resolution metric, it will be 1 second or 10 second, or it will be less than a minute. Okay, so sub-minute resolution is high resolution. So with your configuration, you can go and select even very high resolution data, sub-minute resolution also. But I'll go with the 60 seconds. That should be enough for me. But in production, if someone is looking for very detailed granular metrics, you can just change it also. But here I'll go with the 60 second, and I'll just go with the basic monitoring for now because it is free trial. If I mean, in your production environment, if they're asking for very advanced and detailed information, you can just go for the advanced metric. Okay, and it is asking me, are you satisfied with the above configuration? It is just showing me what kind of metrics it is going to collect. Okay, so it is going to collect the memory used or disk used, auto scaling. You can just verify that, and it is going to store it in a JSON file. We can also view it later also. I can just say yes. Okay, and do you have any existing CloudWatch agent? So this is where you have to be very careful. You have to say no for this. Okay, if you look at here, say no to monitor log files. Okay, so say no, and I'll show you how to collect additional log files. Okay, for example, if you have some application installed in your machine, you can also add multiple log file path. Okay, but for now I'm just don't want to do it now. I'll show you today only. Okay, but for this time I'll just skip it. And if you want to store the JSON file in your SSM, in your systems manager, you can also do it. Okay, but for now I just don't want to do it. I'll just say no, I don't want to store it in SSM, and it is done. Okay, so once after this activity is complete, it will go and store all the configuration information in a particular JSON file. So this is the location. It will go and store it under the OPT AWS. You can see that it might have created a config.json. And if you want to start the CloudWatch agent using the new configuration settings, you need to run this command. Okay, so using the JSON file here, if you want to update your CloudWatch unified agent with the updated metrics, you need to point out the file and you have to select it. Okay, just a second. Okay, always use Notepad to copy paste and then run it. Sometimes directly from Word, it might not take the word wrap effectively. Okay, now it has okay, detecting run as user, no CSM configuration, that's fine. Okay, it has now picked up the file from the OPT AWS Amazon CloudWatch agent. It has picked up the JSON file and it has updated it. Now it has successfully fetched the information and it has started. So after maybe 2 or 3 minutes, you can verify in your CloudWatch console whether you are seeing some additional metrics. I'll just give it few minutes, okay, and I can show you how the additional metrics and namespace will get populated. Okay, it will take a minute or two. Sometimes even it will take 5 minutes also to create a new namespace and show up. Okay, so let's give it some time. So what we did is like we used the configuration wizard, this particular Amazon CloudWatch agent configuration wizard, to select additional metrics, additional log files. If you want to capture additional statistics and information from your system, you need to run it and capture it. Okay, so let me also just go to this particular location. Okay, so these are the information. Okay, the config.json file is the file which will be getting generated by the agent configuration wizard. Okay, so this is the location. All the binaries related to your CloudWatch will be getting stored under the OPT AWS. So this is the folder where all the binary files will be stored. If you want to start the Amazon CloudWatch agent, or if you want to do some control on the agent, you can come to this location and do it. So just now we started the agent, right, using this control command. Okay, so you can also start it using this command also. Okay, either ways is fine. So let's just give it a minute. Let's refresh. Okay, it will take some time. Okay, so meanwhile, we'll also just go and okay, its next step is to go and view the collected information. It will take some time. So you will see a new folder called custom namespace, and it will have CloudWatch agent folder. Okay, any questions from anyone so far on this one? Okay, is my audio okay?
Do we have to
Yeah.
do this for every virtual
Yes,
machine?
okay.
No. So see, there are multiple ways of handling this. Raisegar or whoever asked it. See, in general, what they
Yeah.
will do is they will have a common JSON file created for the entire organization for different operating system, and they will add this command to the user data. They will add the command to your blueprint, so that it will not be done in every single machine or every single system. So it will be automated, or it will be I'll also show you how to do that using the user data or the automated method. In general, they will not do it. So for your question, it's not that you have to go and do it in every machine. So
Can
this
this
is
be
a
included in the image itself? Like,
yeah, that's what they will have it in the
yeah.
image. The agent will be there in the image, but the configuration
Okay.
file, they might try to invoke it, or even the config file also can be part of your golden image. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Just a second. I just thought of showing you the difference here. Mm. So there are two, see why we are installing the metrics. We are to collect the information or internal system related events. So that's the reason we want to install this agent. And there are two different types of agent. The legacy agent is mainly needed for your instance metadata service version 1. Okay, if you are having a very old image, or if you are running some instances for a very long time, 5 years, 10 years, more than that, then you might have to continue with the legacy agent. For any new systems, new image, new deployment, always go with the unified agent. That is more detailed, and it provides you more in-guest metrics. Okay, so that's the benefit. So by default, you will not get all the metrics. If in case you want to have custom metrics from the system and from the on-premises, you can also collect the metrics from EC2 and also on the on-premises. On-premises means even on the other cloud also. Okay, so if it is other than EC2, you have to select on-premises. Okay, maybe it is outside of Amazon data center. That's what the other, and also you get the option to go and yeah, this is what it can include in hybrid environment as well. So not in AWS. Okay, the next thing is you also get the option to go and add additional application related metrics using stats D and collect D. See if you have some JBoss, or if you have some other application, third party application, you can use this statistics tools and collect D daemon to collect additional log files or additional information. So a lot of organization, they are using it for collecting information about your custom application or some third-party application also. So StatsD is supported on both Linux and Windows, but CollectD is only for Linux systems. Okay, this is the only thing you need to be aware of. If you want to collect application-related metrics from Linux system, then we go and install the CollectD. But the StatsD is available for both Windows and Linux. So both are going to collect the statistics from the application performance or application system. Okay, you can just go and store it, and the default namespace it will create is CW agent. But in some organization, they also want to change it. You can go and change the name of the agent in the JSON file. But by default, it will go and create a namespace with CW agent. That is the default practice. Let's see. Okay, so okay, so while that is taking time, I'll also check if I can add any additional information from the slide. So CloudWatch, you need to understand that it's a complete monitoring and observability service, and it collects and helps you with all these different dimensions. Okay, it also collects metrics and it helps you to correlate the information. See, every information is getting to the same console. Okay, either it is your EC2 or EBS or other service, all the three-tier information or the three-tier application details are coming to the same console. So you can correlate it, visualize it. If the issue is in the load balancer level or EC2 level or the backend database level, it gives you that correlation and visualization. So that's another major benefit of CloudWatch. Okay, so other than collecting the information, it gives you the correlation and the consolidated visualization, and also it helps you with effective problem management and so on. So that's another thing, and also it can create alarms and stuffs. Okay, so when the threshold reaches, you can also send notification. I'll come to that part. So I thought of just completing this metrics first. It generally takes more time. Okay, let me also try one more thing. Maybe I'll try to do it on another operating system also. Okay, while this is happening, I can also show you how to connect to the server using the direct username and password from your PowerShell. See, in general, what we generally do is you go to that specific location and we connect it, right? For example, if I go to this EC2, I have to go to the location where the PIM file is stored, or I have to point out the exact location on how where exactly the PIM file is stored, and we connect it, right? See, this is the PIM file which I need, and I generally go copy this, and then I go to the location where the PIM file is stored. In general, the PIM file is stored under the downloads, right? So I generally go to the downloads, and then I execute that command, right? So here I open up the PowerShell, and from this location, I generally run that particular command so that the PIM file can be used for connecting to it. Right? It is asking, are you sure you want to connect? I connect it. Now I'm using the PIM file to connect to my EC2 on the system. I can just, I'm already connected now. I can do it. But if I don't want to use the PIM file, if I want to use only the username and password, it's pretty straightforward. What you need to do is you need to go to the sshd config file and allow password authentication. Okay, so let me just open up that other file here quickly. Just a second, it's opening. Okay, yeah. So just what you need to do is you need to connect to the instance and first set the password for your EC2 instance. You know the command for the setting the password is passwd, right? So I'm just going to set the password. By default, you don't get any password for your EC2 user, right? So you need to set that first. That is the first thing. So here I'm just going to set some password. Okay, so it's not following some dictionary thing. Okay, but that's fine. Okay, I've just created the password for EC2 now. So next thing is you need to go and configure the changes on this sshd file. Okay, so go to your vi/etc/ssh/sshd config file, and here go and allow the password authentication. See here, password authentication by default on all the Amazon EC2 instances, it will be set to no. So this is where you need to go and change it to yes. Okay, once after you change it, you will be able to connect it. And now you need to go and restart the SSHD service for, okay, so service SSHD restart. Okay, then you're done. So now if I want to connect to it, I can just 1 second. You can open up a new PowerShell. See, this time I can just directly connect to it. So what is the IP address? So my IP address is this thing. I can say SSH EC2 -user at that IP address. That's it. Okay, I have to give the password and I'll be able to do it. Okay, that simple it is. Okay, it's not very tough. It's pretty straightforward. Even you can go and create your own user, and you can also connect using that. For example, if I want to create something like Stan, if I want to create a new user, I can also create it. User add Stan, pass WD Stan, and I can just set some password for it, and I can allow him to connect using the sshd. And I can also do that. I can use SSH space stan at that IP address. It will connect me to that EC2 instance. Okay, it is that simple. Okay, it's not very tough. Okay, I was just showing you that because it was taking some time to capture the metric here. It's still coming up. Okay, let's do one thing. I'll try to see. Did we properly do it? I'm just doubtful whether we enable that memory option. Okay, let me try to do it from this machine here. Go to the CloudWatch. I'm just going to run the file again just to make sure that I did the things properly, because I remember not getting the option for the memory. So I'm going to select the Linux. Perfect. I'm going to select EC2. Perfect. I'm going to select root. Okay, let's do one thing. Okay, root is fine, but let me say others. So I'm going to use the EC2-user. Okay. Do you want to turn on the stats D? No. Do you want to monitor metrics from collect D? No. Do you want to monitor any host metrics? Yes. Do you want to monitor CPU? Yes. Do you want to add EC2 dimension? Yes. Aggregate? Yes. This is fine. Which default metrics configuration do you want? Basic is fine. Are you satisfied with the above configuration? Oh, it is not asking me option for memory. Huh? Okay, let's see. It says memory used a percent is getting added, but it did not show me. Okay, anyways, so that's fine for now. It has added the disk utilization and the memory. Are you satisfied with the above file? Yes, I'm satisfied. Do you have any existing CloudWatch log agent? No. Do you want to monitor any log files? Okay, we can do one thing. Okay, I'll install Apache on this machine, and then we can also start collecting the Apache log files also, because like anyways we have run the execution one more time. So this time I'll just go and add additional third-party log files also. So in order to do that, you need to install this what do you call the HTTPD package. I don't know why the session is getting frozen again and again. Just a second. Okay, so did I allow HTTPD on this machine? Sorry, did I allow incoming traffic? Let me go to the wizard. Incoming. Yeah, HTTP is allowed. Perfect. So I can also check whether I'll generate some traffic so that the log file will get populated. Okay, copy. DNS host server did not accept the connection. Let's see. We have just installed it, right? Let me also go and start the service. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So you guys also can generate some traffic so that I can show you a little more additional information. Just copy that IP and run it from your browser. Okay, so that I can show you when the log gets generated. It gives us some more detailed information from which location it was accessed and from what PC and so on. Okay, so now what I can do is I need to add the specific log file path. Okay, for example, so this is the log file where you will have the access log for your HTTPD. Okay, let me just try to add this file. Okay, so var log HTTPD access log. So let me check it here whether that specific logs are getting generated now. Okay, yeah, you can see this is the access log. Whoever is accessing the HTTPD service, the access information will be stored here. If there is an error, it will be stored here. So I'm going to monitor that particular thing also. Okay, do you want to monitor any log file? I'll say yes. Okay, and it is asking me the log file path. So here I can just give as many as path I want. Okay, so oh my god, just a second. Yeah, enter. So it is asking me what is the log group name. So access underscore log is also fine, or if I want to say HTTPD access, because some organization might have different HTTPD service. Okay, so default choice instance ID is fine. So log group retention and days. I just want to retain it for only 3 days, or 1 day is also fine. But let me retain it for 3 days. If you are storing it for 10 years and all, it is going to cost you more. It gives you option up to 10 years, but I'll just go for only 3 days. Even 3 days is not needed, but let me do it. Okay, do you want to specify any additional log files to monitor? I don't want to specify any additional log files. You can add as many log files as you want. Okay, I'm just going to stop it from adding. I also don't
What was
want to
that
store
-1 in that? Like -1 days.
infinite. Okay,
Oh, that's
so
infinite.
yeah. So do you want to store the config in SSM? No, I don't want to. Yeah, now I've just updated it. So let me start the configuration. Let me try to trigger that again. Maybe I'm not sure last time if it triggered properly. Okay, validation, second phase succeeded. Amazon call has already been stopped. Redirecting, restarted. Okay, fine. I think this time it should work. Okay, let's give it some minute. Okay, it will also start generating the logs also this time. Okay, so under your logs, so you will start seeing a new log group now. Okay, in some time it will be there, and you will start seeing information coming from there. Okay, let's go and generate the traffic, and it will automatically start populating the information. So did someone else also tried accessing the web page? Okay, let's give it some minute. Okay, so let this happen. Let's not just delay the session. So what we have done now is I have showed you how to capture custom metrics. Okay, so you need to run this particular configuration, and then you have to get it configured. So this is the command to have additional metrics captured. Okay, so we saw this particular thing, and also I showed you how to install the agent. And in order to collect additional logs, you can also collect the logs using the same configuration wizard. Okay, so you can also capture custom logs also. Okay, just let's give it some minute. Meanwhile, I'll also explain about the logs. Any questions from anyone so far on the metrics part of it? Okay. So for the metrics, for the logs, many of you know that, right? See, there are many log sources for CloudWatch. It's not just about EC2 alone. It's like it can be within your operating system, and it can also start collecting the logs from different sources. For example, the main source is your CloudWatch Unified Agent. So that is the main thing. It is going to send information for your EC2 instances or the system. But even your Elastic Beanstalk can also send application related logs. Even your ECS containers can also send some logs. Your VPC will also send some network flow logs. So you will get information from different things. Okay, you will also get information from your Lambda execution, from your API access or API gateway access logs. And you can also integrate CloudTrail with CloudWatch. You can also integrate Route 53 so that all the DNS queries can be tracked. So I mean, this is a never-ending list. Okay, so in simple, people think like it is not. It is only about the logs from within the operating system. That is only one portion of it. Okay, so CloudWatch log, it's like collecting logs from different product, different services at different level. So what we generally need to do is we need to go and create a log group so that you can understand it better. Okay, so log group is nothing but an arbitrary name which you can assign, like we assigned it for HTTPD access log, right? We gave it an arbitrary name like HTTPD access log so that it can represent the application. Generally, it will be named on the application or the environment based on that business unit name. Okay, you will create a log group, and within that log group you will have all the logs getting accumulated. Mostly it will be application name will be used for application log group. Okay, and you can also go and create a log stream also. So whenever just a second, you can also go and integrate for your application system security. See, from your Windows event viewer also you can start sending the alerts or start sending the um, events. Okay, so we call it as SIEM solution, right? So this is not a full-blown SIEM solution, but at least to some extent, you can have all the logs collected in a centralized platform. It can also act as a SIEM solution or security event, incident and event management for your operating system. So from your operating system, you can just go and collect the security related logs. Just now I showed you the event viewer, right? It is grouped into security, application, system and custom and all those things, right? So all these things can get accumulated in your CloudWatch logs also. So CloudWatch log, the biggest benefit is that by default, like it has got some expiration. Okay, but you can also go and change it to never expire also. It gave me option, right, to how long you want to store it, whether you want to store it for 10 years or 1 year, or based on your requirement, you can go and set the log expiration policy also. Okay, it can be log based on log group to log group, based on the application owner or based on the business unit. Different logs might have to be stored for a different number of days. Okay, so if you want to have auditing for a longer duration, you can also have it. Okay, so you can just go and create one more log group also. So here is where you set the timing. Okay, so never expire is the -1, and you can have all the same thing. So this is what we saw in graphical console, whoever asked the question. Okay, so it's the same equivalent. Okay, -1 is never expire, and the other areas like up to um, 120 months, 10 years. Okay, let's see if it is able to. If this is not getting created, possibly it is because of the role or permission. Let's see. Let's give it some time. it should not take this much perfect. Okay, the CW agent is now there. At least the metrics is now visible. It takes actually like 5 to 10 minutes. Sometimes I have seen it takes up to 30 minutes also, but that's fine. See, this is the custom namespace it has got created. Okay, so after we install the unified agent and configure the additional metric, it has added the CWT agent namespace. You can also change the namespace if you want to. So here is where you get the information about the instance. If I go inside that, I'll be getting only for that particular instance, stan linux VM1. Okay, and now I'm able to see the memory used percentage also. Okay, earlier I was not able to do it because the default metric or the default metrics will not give you that memory utilization and all. So if you want to go and collect additional metrics, then you need to go and configure it within the unified agent and get the additional details from it. Okay, so now you can get the disk used percentage, memory utilization, and the shared memory or the virtual memory details, temporary file system occupancy. All these informations are now available for you. Okay, so clear? Okay, so for only for Linux VM, it has started giving me the disk and memory. That is what we configured, right? If you look at here, so it added me the disk used percentage and memory used percentage. So these are the two additional metrics started collecting or getting collected. Okay, now let's give it a minute for the logs to get accumulated. It should create a log group in 1 or 2 minutes now. Okay, generally again it takes 5 to 10 minutes. Sometimes it might take a little more time also. And some organization, they also use some third-party SIEM solution also. Okay, so yeah, security hub is one thing. In one of my customer environment, they are using Accenture solution. Okay, they call it as Accenture LCP solution or something like that. Okay, though they have a LCP solution where they will collect all the logs from all the AWS related things. So instead of storing in CloudWatch, a couple of my organization, they are using this Accenture's solution to collect all the log information to their platform. So whenever there is a security breach or anything that is detected, the Accenture team will call the customer and notify that there is a security event or whatever. So different organization, they follow different ways, but you can also collect all the information to one particular centralized location, and it can help you to alert or notify if there is something anomaly or some specific issue is detected. But some organization, they also take managed security services from third party also, like IBM, DXC, Accenture, Cognizant. They have their own native solution. So different organization will get it. Okay, by default, there will be no logs that will go to your CloudWatch. If in case you want to store it, then you need to go and configure it by installing the CloudWatch logs agent. And as I told you, so we have two different agent. The old agent is the it has got some limitation. So unified agent, it is the one you need to install for collecting all the system level metrics. Okay, like your memory, disk, and all those stuff. Okay, so only the unified agent gets you that option. Okay, if you are still using the old agent, you will not be able to get the memory level metrics and all. Even you can also configure the unified agent to go and store the configuration file in SSM parameter store. Okay, and under your AWS, you have EC2 Systems Manager, right? You can also go and store those JSON file there, and you can also have it stored in a centralized way also. And with unified agent, you can also collect information from on-premises also. That is something which I already mentioned. Okay, so if this is not working,
Salil,
okay, if the yeah,
Salil,
Pandian.
yeah. If if we are not ready to use the CloudWatch, so if I want to
Mm-hmm,
go for any third-party,
mm-hmm,
monitoring, like
mm-hmm,
Splunk or something data from OCA something.
mm-hmm.
So even though I need to configure the CloudWatch, or how do we will configure with the
So
third party?
yeah, so what see, for example, what they have done in a couple of my environments, they have created two systems in EC2 instance. Okay, so this is the instance. that will have the specific like some systems are agentless, like Splunk and all, it is agentless. Some systems might need some agent. Okay, so it will collect all the data from to this log collection platform. It can be Splunk or Accenture managed services or managed security services or whatever. And on this system, they will have some artificial intelligence and machine learning that will just uh, I mean, that will just what you call shrink the data that is needed for them. Okay, it will not send the complete data. It will just modify and just convert the data into a format that they are looking at. And from here, it will be sending to the third-party solution or Accenture or whatever organization. And from there, they will be notifying the InfoSec team or the security team. So you will need some separate systems to be deployed, Pandian, for that case. So CloudWatch, you can also do it twice. For example, you can send it to CloudWatch, and from CloudWatch you can send it to Splunk, but that will be little more delayed. See, if there is a security issue, you need to get you need to kind of alert them within next few minutes, right? If you are telling them tomorrow or day after, then that is of no use, right? So you can do it in multiple hops, like getting it into the CloudWatch, and then from here you can send it to Splunk or Prometheus or your third-party systems. But that's not the way. You have to collect it directly from the system. That way you can save cost and also react very quickly.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, Stalin. Yeah.
Yeah. So your organization will have separate easy to deploy for that. You'll have some separate instances running as Splunk, or if you're using Prometheus, you can also use the direct Amazon managed services here. It can also collect all the logs information and including the data. It's also a monitoring service, right? You can go and use that also. Even I think Splunk also it's there. Yeah, so Splunk, it's like they have a custom solution called the Kinesis, but you can also have Splunk integration. Yeah. So let's give a couple of minutes. Any other questions from anyone? See, without practice, listening, you will be able to understand, but you will not be able to confidently express yourself in interviews or any other discussion. Okay, in order to do that, you need to go and practice it. Simple thing is, after you complete all the 50 labs which I showed you here, you will at least feel very confident on working with different services, configuring it, monitoring it. At least at the operations level, you will become very, very confident. So complete these labs as soon as possible in the next 2 or 3 weeks, and you will be very much prepared. I know like everyone is busy these days with a lot of attritions and other lot of organizations. You are overloaded with work, but you need to definitely spend 1 hour daily on AWS console. That way you can get better or feel a little confident. Okay, so okay, so some people they ask like whether it's only about what do you call CPU memory. It's not just about CPU memory. Again, see the unified agent, it can collect lot of information. Even it can collect the network statistics. It can collect the processes running off your system. It can collect the swap space on your system. It can also monitor some additional information also, not just limited to disk and memory. Okay. So even CPU can be collected. CPU, it gave me option, right? Say when CPU is active, CPU is idle. If the CPU is it's getting stolen by some other processes or stuff. If it is getting occupied some guest processes, all those things can be identified. Okay, there are a lot of detailed metrics that you can collect. Okay, just let's give it some time to see if the logs are coming up. Okay, while that is happening, we can also do one thing. Okay, so maybe like you said last week, a couple of you guys expressed that sitting for until 9:30 it looks like little tough. So what we can do today, tomorrow we might have to sit for a little more longer time because of the migration class. So we'll take a 10 minutes break and we'll come back. Okay, and when we come back, we'll try and complete the session by maybe 8:40 or 8:45, so that you'll not get lunch break, sorry, dinner break. Instead, the session can get completed a little early. Okay, so let's take a small break now. Okay, and when we come back, we'll discuss the remaining events, alarms, and dashboard, and we can just see if we can cover up other topics also. Okay, and that will also give some time for the logs to get accumulated. Okay, so let me stop the recording for 10 minutes. Let's take a 10 minutes break, and we can just close the session a little early without giving the dinner break. Let me stop the recording. That is what you guys recommended last week, right? Pandian and
Yes.
This conference will now be recorded.
okay, guys, thank you for joining back. We'll continue the session. Okay, let's talk about events. Okay, before that, let me also quickly check any luck here. Interesting. Sometimes, okay, maybe we can try doing one more thing. We can try and install the AWS logs tool. Okay, that will also try, I mean, it will start generating the information. Just give me a second. Because like sometimes I've seen in Amazon Linux, it might not automatically send the data. We might have to install this AWS log file. Okay, let me just go and try that. Okay, let me, it's disconnected. Okay, that's fine. Let me also close the session. Let me connect it again. See, what we are trying to do is, like with the log group, we are planning to monitor the HTTP access log or the HTTP errors or any kind of even kernel log or application log or whatever, right? So if you want to capture some application logs or those level of information, you might have to install the AWS logs. Okay. And okay, so it's not installed. Okay, then that is fine. Then now I can just start the service. This is mainly to capture your EC2 level logs, like your application logs or kernel logs or system logs, any audit information. So I'm trying to start this. It's failed to start. Okay, let me check AWS logs. Config file is there. AWS logs.conf is there. Okay, then what? Unit logs.service not found. Okay, let me do one thing. I'll try to. Okay. Now, guys, like simple. Okay, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to generate some system-related logs to see like whether at least at that time the logs are getting generated. So we have added that the Apache access log. But still, okay, let me do one thing. Let me go and check the permission, whether it has got the IAM has got the permission to store the logs, or it is just only for metrics alone. Maybe that might also be a mistake. C2 CloudWatch policy. Okay, expand. Yeah, describe log group, put log events, create log. Okay, I think that's fine. Okay, it's allowed already. That should solve the problem. But anyways, let's see. Let's give it some time. Okay, so we are good with the role. There is no issues. Okay, let's give it some time. Okay, and we'll try to fix that issue. But now, coming to the event is a little integrated to the previous metrics and logs, but the concept is little different. Okay, so CloudWatch event, you need to understand three important aspects. One is the event itself, okay, and we have got something called the rules and the target. Okay, so these are the three things that make up the event service. So event, for example, EC2 stopped, that is an event. Okay, so your code pipeline failed. Okay, that is the event. S3 bucket deleted. Okay, that is a event. So what we are trying to do is we are capturing some near real-time data. Okay, so event will deliver near real. It's not real time, it's near real time stream of events or stream of information. I would say events. Events is the better word. And when it happens, it is not going to monitor all the activities. It is will create a restriction. Will create a rule, whether like it should monitor only the instance stopped or instance started, or the code pipeline success or failed. So we need to kind of create a what do you call filter. Okay, so rules is to filter the events. Okay, so if that particular thing matches the incoming event, okay, what the rule will do is rule will route the request. Okay, for example, what you can do is when the EC2 is stopped, you can create a rule to monitor that particular event, and then you can send it to a particular target. So target can be it can be a lambda function that can go and start the EC2, or it can go and create a new EC2 instance, or it can be a SNS topic that can send some simple notification, or it can be a SQS queue service which can go and get the order and then place the request for order. Also, you can send it to Kinesis streams to process it and all those stuffs. Okay, and also you can have some custom configurations also, or custom targets also, but you have to now link these three things together. Okay, so AWS CloudWatch event is a service that will deliver the near real-time stream of events, and based on the near real-time stream of events, the rule will describe the activity, describe the change that has happened, and based on the specific filter criteria, it will go and send it to a specific target. So this target will take, it can be a specific public distribution list or an email ID, or it can be an SMS or whatever. And based on that, you can take a manual operational activity, or it can be an automated activity also. You can also send it to a auto scaling group, and it can automatically increase the number of servers. It can activate a particular function. Okay, so this is what it happens. There is an event that gets generated, and if the event matches a particular rule or a particular filter criteria, it will go and specifically send it to a target. This target will receive the matching event alone. Okay, so these are the three things that are linked together. So CloudWatch event will help to respond to a particular state change. EC2 stopped to started, S3 bucket created to deleted. So it's mainly, I would say, it is the state change. Event is a state change. Okay, it has increased from one particular consumption to another consumption. So whenever there is a resource change state, it will send a event stream. That event stream will be monitored by the CloudWatch event rule. That event rule, if it matches a particular scheduled event or a selected event, it will send it to a particular target. Okay, so that is how it works. So for example, even you can do one more thing. You can also use the rule to create a scheduled task also. See, for example, you can say CloudWatch event rule to go and create a AMI at a particular time. Okay, for example, it's like a cron job. Okay, you can just say like you can go and create a snapshot or a AMI at a particular time, and once the snapshot and AMI is created, you can send a notification that the snapshot was successful, or the AMI creation was successful, or something like that. And there is one more thing also you can do. See, whenever there is a backup snapshot or AMI is created, Okay, automatically you can also create a rule to monitor the new AMI and copy that AMI to a secondary region also. Okay, you can do it in multiple ways. Okay, at the end, these are all three different things that are integrated together to match a particular thing. See, there is an event and we have an event pattern or event filtering option. Okay, and based on the event pattern, it will go and take necessary action. And the action can be sent to a Lambda function or an SNS topic, or even it can try to restart the service itself. Okay, so this is how it works on a very high level. So it can be a schedule or cron job also, and it can be sending it to a JSON. It's like the rule will send to a target as a JSON file, as a JSON payload. Okay, the information will be passed on to the end user or to the particular system as a JSON payload. Whatever the event rule is passing on, it will be converting to a JSON file, and the JSON file information will be sent to the SNS topic or SQS queue or a Lambda function. Even you can also send it to some code build or code pipeline or whatever that also. See, if there is a new code, that application code that is available in a particular S3 bucket, the event rule will find that, and it will go and trigger a new pipeline job or go and trigger a new CI/CD pipeline, so that the new application code can be reflected on the new system. Okay, so it can be just a small integration. Okay, it can be a small integration, or it can be a orchestration also, like CI/CD pipeline, or okay, it can be integration, it can be notification, it can be orchestration, or even you can do a maintenance also. Okay, if the system is having very high utilization, you can also go and configure restart, or you can also go and say like go and increase the capacity, or change the instance type, or do some kind of actions. Okay, it can be a EC2 action, or it can be a systems manager action also, to go and create a snapshot and all those stuffs. Okay, so this is very interesting stuff. Even some people think like it's very straightforward, but it's not that simple. Okay, you need to go and create a event selector, and you need to match a criteria, and based on that, it can go and have a logic behind it. So there is one more service that is, maybe let's do one thing. I'll create it as a separate thing because it's a um, larger concept. So many people get confused with CloudWatch event and Event Bridge. Okay, so Event Bridge is a newer technology, or I would say it's a next evolution of CloudWatch event. Okay, so if your question is like whether it is going to replace the CloudWatch agent, no, it is not going to replace the CloudWatch agent. I would say it's a modern platform, or it's a next evolution of CloudWatch event. Okay, Event Bridge is the next version or next evolution of your CloudWatch event. Okay, and it is going to work hand in hand. And the biggest difference that you need to understand is that CloudWatch Event Bridge is designed for partner, or B2B, or business to business, or business to consumer related events. Okay, see, for example, if a particular new user request is created on a particular platform, or if the third-party Datadog is finding out some security events, or if the Zendesk is receiving some alerts, or if there is a authentication error, or if your WSO2 system or some authentication system is sending some alert. Okay, so Event Bridge can receive events not only from CloudWatch, or not only from your Amazon EC2, AWS resources. So this is more specific to AWS resources. Your CloudWatch event is more specific to AWS resources. Okay, like EC2, Lambda, S3 bucket, and all those stuff. Okay, so this one, Event Bridge, is beyond that. Okay, Event Bridge can receive information from your AWS resources. It can be receiving information from third party. It can be receiving information from any partner engagements also. Okay, third party SIEM solutions, or applications. So in simple, Event Bridge can receive, or it can get the events from third-party generated application also. If your third-party SaaS applications, or if your third-party infrastructure related Splunk or whatever, if it is generating, so this particular event bridge can receive information from the third party services also. Okay, it's not just limited to what do you call AWS. See, for AWS, I mean, many people ask this question. Okay, it's not just about EC2 stopped or code pipeline. These are all just some example. In real time, it might be more beyond that also. See, if someone logs into the console also, you can monitor it. But these things are getting captured in CloudTrail, right? So even your CloudTrail can send the event to your CloudWatch event. Okay, when there is a new sign in or when there is a new EBS volume is created, or if there is a new instance store volume created, or if there is a ASG going and creating more instance or deleting more instance, everything can be generated as a or in simple words, any AWS API call can be converted to an event. Okay, so this is on the AWS level, but Event Bridge is beyond AWS. Okay, so AWS, third-party SAS, SaaS applications, or third-party applications also. Okay, so it can receive from any events. It can be coming from third-party partners also. Okay, events from your own application also, your own customer application. Okay, it can receive from any different events. Okay, so it's a natural evolution, or it's a kind of newer version of event, I would say. Even your CloudWatch event can send data to statistics to Event Bridge. Okay, so Event Bridge is a very recent one. Event Bridge is built upon your CloudWatch event concept, but it's an extension, I would say. Okay, it's a new next version or evolution or extension of CloudWatch agent. It's not a replacement. Never think that as a replacement. The event bridge is, the solution itself is built on the CloudWatch event only. But the biggest advantage is that they were not able to receive the events from third party on the CloudWatch event. So they came up with a new solution that can collect the information from your third party SAES, SAEM solution, or software as a service application, or any third party API also. So here, CloudWatch event is more for AWS API calls, whereas Event Bridge can receive events from any API calls from third-party application, your customer application, or even from the AWS side of it. Okay, so over the time, maybe I'm not sure, the CloudWatch event might get replaced, but I'm not sure. But as of now, you should think that as a evolution or a kind of next generation. Okay, maybe Amazon has got some plans, but the latest information that I know is like it's not going to replace it. It's going to be there for some time together. Okay, so you guys are able to follow what exactly this CloudWatch event is. Let me go to the console and just have a quick look. Meanwhile, any luck on the logs? Interesting. Okay, I'll also try to troubleshoot it. I'll try to see little later any specific ports. Okay, so here, this is what event we are talking about, right? So you can also go to the event bridge. This is the new solution. Okay. Oh, okay. So they have branded it like this itself. CloudWatch events is now event bridge. See, that's what I was telling you, right? They will take decisions like this, but see, they have clearly mentioned that it is built upon and extends CloudWatch event, but they are also saying CloudWatch events is now event bridge. I don't know, that's interesting term. That's a two conflicting terms on the definitions. Okay, but anyway, so this is like you can think about both are almost the same. One is purely for AWS API call event monitoring. The other one is for third party also. See, if you look at the bottom here, you can see it can be integrated with any third party, MongoDB, Zendesk, PagerDuty. All these applications can send information to your event bridge. It can be integrated with any application, any third party SaaS application. So you don't have to really worry about it. It's a very good tool. Sorry, 1 second. Any questions from anyone on this? I
No,
did not check. Oh, okay, good.
no.
Yeah. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. So here, let's go to the CloudWatch event. Okay, so here is where you go and create a rule in general. See, that is what I was telling you, right? So you need to first understand what are the different services and API calls you are planning to monitor. See, you can just monitor any AWS services for that matter. See, even for example, if some backup failure happens, or if you want to monitor some S3 or anything, right? You can just monitor any specific event. So backup job state change, or success to failure, or someone is restoring something, or if there is a backup plan, someone has modified the backup plan. So any API call, okay, you can just go and monitor if it is related to backup. You can filter it down, okay, if you can filter it down to the backup job or restore job or copy job, or if you want to just monitor the AWS API call on stuff, you can just change it, and based on the event pattern, it is going to send to a particular target. So the target can be a Lambda function, or it can be a notification to your email address or PDL, or it can be sending an action. So when the backup is complete, you can also go and reboot the system or stop the system, or there are a lot of different API calls also you can trigger. Okay, so some people think it is just about notification. It's not just about notification. Notification is one thing. It can also go and do some maintenance also. So after the backup is complete, you can also go and stop the instance to save some cost in the late in the night, or you can also just go and reboot the system as a daily regular maintenance. So you can also go and do any kind of so it is going to invoke a particular action again. Okay, it's not just about notification. Many people misunderstand that the rules will only send notification. Notification is one small portion. It can also go and create another pipeline, or it can go and do some integration, maintenance work, and so on. So here I can just send a notification if in case I want to do it. And in order to do that, I might have to go and create a specific topic first. Okay, so we have not discussed about the SNS topic, but just for a demo, I'll just quickly create. I'll explain about this little later. Okay, maybe in next week, we'll talk about the SNS, SES, and other things. But for now, this is mainly for sending notifications. Just understand like that. Okay, I'll create a quick topic here. Okay, this is for my, let me go and create a standard one. Okay, CloudWatch SNS topic. Okay, that's fine. You just create a topic. Don't have to do anything specific. You can also send it to a particular, I can just send it to my ID. Okay, I can just send it to my email, or you can also send it to US. I mean, if you're in US, you can send it in a SMS or some HTTP endpoint, or you can also again send it to an SQSQ and so on. But email is the easiest way to check that. Okay, so I can just create a subscription. So important thing is like once after the topic is created, you need to have some subscription for that. So as of now, once after the subscription is added, I need to go and confirm, because I cannot just go and send some spam emails to Pandian or anyone, right? So I need to accept it. So after creating the subscription, you need to go to your email ID and confirm the subscription. Just let me just quickly check it here. Just a second. Okay, once after I confirm it, it will automatically say that I'm confirming the subscription. Okay, so here I'll get the notification like this. I have to click confirm subscription. You can see that it has come from CloudWatch SNS topic. I can just go and confirm it. So once after it is confirmed, I'll start receiving the notification from this particular SNS topic, simple notification service topic. I can just go and refresh it here. Now, if I refresh it, I should be able to see that it's confirmed. Okay, so now I've created a topic. This topic will go and send it to this particular email ID. In general, we'll be having some PDL, or maybe some people will have it as a service desk or something like that. Okay, service desk at companyx.com or something like that, so that it will automatically create a ticket or automatically create a incident or whatever. Some people will have their distribution list, public distribution list or email group, and it will be sending notification. It's not just about email, right? It can be a Lambda function, or it can be a SMS also to your mobile if something is drastically happening. Okay, so here now I can just go and refresh it, and I can just select the topic. It's not coming up. Let's see. Interesting. So I don't have any backup configured, but anyways, I'll just show you how to do that. Maybe you guys can quickly practice. Maybe I'll just do one thing. I'll say EC2 instance state change notification. I'll specifically mention if my system is stopped, okay, I should receive a notification so that we can see a live thing. So any instance getting stopped, or you can also specifically monitor a specific instance. Okay, I can just go and mention the specific instance ID here. Just a second. There are hundreds of event pattern. I can just go and mention these systems. Okay, when this particular instance ID gets stopped, I should receive notification, and this one also. Okay, you can add multiple. Okay, so now if this instance is getting stopped, or any actions for this particular okay, let's do the stopped only, stop shutting down, and then stopped. And even if it gets terminated also, I should receive notification. Okay, you can add multiple criterias, multiple filters, and you can select multiple instance ID. You can also have any instance, any state. And now I can just go and configure it to a particular SNS topic, or you can also automate. If the instance get down, you can also go and run a command to start the instance, or you can also go and say create a snapshot, or start the instance, or reboot the instance. You can try doing whatever that you want to. Okay, so here I'll just go and select the topic, and if you want to specifically mention that only if the matched event, or you can also just go and input some additional criteria there, but I'll just say matched event, and just configure it. Okay, so now let's, okay, this is fine. I don't want to add any additional thing. You can add multiple actions also to one particular activity. So now it is asking me monitor EC2 instance. Okay. Okay, let me create a rule. Now, okay, let me go and stop or restart the instance. Let's give 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, it might take some time to capture, but anyways, let's try. I'll stop this. I'll restart this. Okay, let's see. Okay, Stanley.Raj. CloudWatch SNS topic. So these things are whatever unnecessary, like delete all those unnecessary things. We are deleting the wrong one. Himanshu SNS, we can delete things. Sometimes you might be practicing a lot of things, and sometimes like you might leave a lot of subscriptions and topics. These are not going to charge you anything, but if it is kind of getting accumulated for a long time, then it might be risky also. Okay, let's see. So now this one should work. Okay, I just deleted the unwanted ones. Okay, always keep your what do you call the sandbox or the lab environment clean, so that you are not getting any charges. Okay, let's see. Okay, let me go and check if I'm getting any emails. Yeah, perfect. So it has sent a notification that the instance is stopped. Okay, so instance 8EE4EE, say, okay, the instance ending with DCE is stopped. Okay, is that the right thing? Instance ending with DCE is stopped. Okay, perfect. Okay, so that's the event, right? So you have received a notification. So based on that, you can take an action. If I mean, it can also send it to a service desk at a company. I mean, for example, Volvo.com or Mercedes.com. Automatically, it will create a priority 2 or priority 3 ticket based on your priority classification. So here you can see that it has sent one notification for this stopped, and the other instance it might have restarted very quickly so that it was not, I mean, let's see, it might have sent another notification also. Yeah, let's give it some time, but yeah, mostly like if you're not enable detailed monitoring, then that is also one important thing, right? So with basic monitoring, every 5 minutes only it will be checking the threshold. So that is one another important aspect you need to keep in mind. So yeah, so event, rule, and target. So these three things are linked together into the CloudWatch event concept. Okay, any specific questions from anyone on this particular topic? Okay.
No.
Yeah. No. Okay. Next one is
Stanley,
alarms.
actually,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, Venkat.
actually, in CloudWatch, as soon as in the beginning of our session, right, we discussed about the metrics, agents, and all, right, logs and all.
Mhm,
So,
mhm,
in which, right, we will be able to see the real-time scenarios and even the logs which are happened, last
mhm,
previous uh, state of the respective EC2 instances.
mhm.
In that particular area, do we able to see whether it is stopped or not? Is it required to go for the SNS topic?
No, you can definitely see there are a lot of other options also. So here also you can just directly go and manage certain things, or you can also monitor and troubleshoot here also. Okay, you can just manage the alarms directly from the system. Okay, you need not go through the CloudWatch event or whatever. You can just manage the alarms here also. You can create an alarm and send a notification directly to the topic. Okay, so if there is an alarm that is getting raised because of CPU utilization or system going down or memory utilization or any network traffic, so even status check failed or anything, right? So for anything
Okay.
and everything, you can also directly raise the alarm. It's not that you need to go and do it. But to be frank, Venkat, so these things, unless you get hands-on thing, for example, like unless you go and do a few times, you will not understand all the aspects. See, for example, I told you metrics, but unless you go and explore a few things like going into the EC2 and then checking what are the different aspects it is providing, and you need to check that and then go and explore all these options here, changing the graphs and changing the duration and all those things. The more you do, you will be much more comfortable. See, if suddenly like some people will say like there is some issues going on, right? So you need to make yourself more hands-on. Okay, even though you are a senior resource, you might at least have to help the junior resources, right? So for which you need to have some kind of hands-on practice. But for your question, I mean, it's not that you need to follow the exact same thing. You can also directly integrate some of the issues with alarms or with some of the aspects. It need not follow the same exact path like metrics to events, events to target, and so on. You can also directly configure an alarm if there is a particular high utilization, or if the instance status check is failed. So there are two levels of status checks, right? On your instance, you have host level checks and the instance level checks. So if there is any issues with your host, like the server hardware, then this will be showing as failed. If there is an issue with your EC2 instance or virtual machine, then it will show failure under this thing. You can also monitor that, and if the state is getting changed, you can also send a notification if the traffic, I mean, utilization is very high and so on. even you can create an alarm and send a notification to that particular topic. So here you can also take some actions also. If you want to reboot the server, or if you want to stop the server if the utilization is very high, or if you want to recover the server, terminate it, you can also configure actions also. Okay, so let me just do it. Since I started alarms, we'll just cover that also. See, alarms can be tracking or monitoring multiple metrics or a single metric. Okay, so alarm, okay, how do I define it? Okay, it watches the metrics and sends, I cannot say sends notification and takes or sends, interesting, it takes actions or sends notification. Okay, it can be both ways. The alarm can directly take action. So when I say take action, if something is very high utilization and stuff, it can reboot the instance here. See, many people I've seen, they complicate things. When I say complicate things, for example, last month, I was there in a particular call, and so they are seeing what do you call, there is a particular system, the application, whenever it is highly used, when it reaches a particular threshold, they have created a lambda function to monitor it, and then if it reaches a particular threshold, it will reboot the system, or it will kind of what you call, it will take a AMI and it will reboot it. So there are very easier options here also. You can also take actions or do certain things here itself. So they are having their own custom scripts written on Python, and they have complicated it. Instead, they have option to take actions based on the alarm even within the console itself. See, Amazon is evolving, right? So maybe like 3 years, 4 years back, these options might not have been there. But now alarms can invoke actions also. It's not just about sending notifications or triggering information. It can also invoke specific actions. Alarms can invoke actions, and it's like it has to be for a sustained period of time. Okay, is not going to be immediate. See, for example, if the action is there for a consecutive 1 minute or consecutive 5 minutes, so it has to be for a consecutive period. Okay, it's not like it should not take actions immediately. It needs to be for a period of time. Okay, it can be if your application is very critical, you can configure as minimum as 1 minute. Maybe you can if your application is not very critical, you can configure it for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, so that if the pattern, if the change in state is sustaining for a longer period, if the system is having high utilization above 80% for continuous 5 minutes, then take the action, or then send the alarm notification or whatever. Okay, so this is more like alarms are helping you in a very proactive way. These are all like I would call it as a proactive stuff, because your system is increasing in utilization. So before the application is getting impacted, you will get to know about something in a very proactive way. Okay, so because like you can monitor threshold not for 100%, right? You can also configure it for 70% or 80% based on the configuration size. You can configure the threshold, and when the threshold is reached, you can proactively go and take actions. Okay, makes sense. So alarms are used for triggering notification based on a particular metric. Okay, and it can also invoke action, and it can also trigger notification. These are the two important things that it does. Okay, it can be minimum, maximum, sampling rate. So there are different options here. Okay, you can say when the maximum CPU utilization is continuously 80% for 5 minutes, take the action. Or if your network incoming is some kind of like like some aspects can be minimum, some aspects can be maximum. So you need to discuss with the application owner to understand how you want to get those things monitored. And here, after the alarms are configured, it will show 3 different states. Okay, so there are 3 different states that will be there in your alarm. If it is saying okay, then that means there is no issue with your system. See, if you go here, as of now, the system states for this one is showing okay, right? And here, let me show you and show that in the CloudWatch console. Alarm. So if you go to this, you can see that there is no, I'll see all the alarms. Okay, there is nothing configured. So there will be three different things. Okay, so one will be showing alarm. Alarm will be showing a exclamatory symbol. So green check is nothing but okay. And you also have insufficient data. Insufficient means you are not getting the enough data for showing you the alarm status. Okay, so there will be three different things. Okay is good, and alarm is something is not going right, and you'll also see something like insufficient data, because like the data is not yet available to take a decision, or it is not having enough information to say whether it is a okay status or alarm status. Maybe the data is not coming to your CloudWatch also. Okay, so here this is for a length of time. This is very important because you need to work with the application owner. If you should not have too many alerts or stuff generated. In some cases, you might have to have some high resolution metrics. Sometimes you might also have to have low resolution metrics. The difference between the high resolution and the low resolution, you need to pay more. Okay, so if you are having sampling for 10 seconds, you need to pay triple the time of the charges for 30 seconds. Okay, so this is very important. You need to talk to the application owner. Again, they are the one who are going to pay for it. And many of the people, they don't understand how the billing works, right? So see, for example, the AWS, it generates the bill, right? Overall bill. And what will happen within the customer, right? So customers, they will have tags for each and every business unit. And within that business unit, they will also have tags for application. So the customer, the client will go and bill based on the business unit and based on the application. So if your monitoring metrics are getting accumulated for a particular business unit or an application, at the end, they are the one who are going to pay internally. Okay, so the customer will pay to AWS, but internally they will be cross charging it. So while they cross charge it, they will ask a lot of questions to the overall IT team, and that IT team, if it is supported by some external service provider like IBM or HCL or whatever company, that company is responsible to answer at that time. So before configuring anything, take the buy-in from the application owner, because at the end, the application owner is the one who is going to pay that money. Okay, they will question you, why did you configure that much high resolution alerts? I don't need that level of monitoring. I just need a default level of monitoring. So you need to talk to them, make them understand that the more the granular they want data, they have to pay a little additional, not little, actually triple or four times also. Okay, so alarms, it's more about watching the state of the system and tell you like something is going right or something is not happening as per the plan and so on. Okay, so alarms have either you can say trigger a notification, or you can go and take an action. So action can be like ASG auto scaling, or it can also take actions like go and restart, stop, or terminate, or take some backup or whatever. Okay, so action can also be increasing the systems or recovering the system also. Okay, any specific questions on the alarms?
Stan?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I'm new to the cloud team, but most of the time, whenever any alarm is used, usually for the first few alarms, they used to ignore it. So is there any specific reason for that? If the alarm is continually being triggered, then only they are taking action.
Okay, so
example, CPU usage 80%.
Correct. Historically, they might know some systems are having some utilization issues. So they, for example, some application owner, they already know that the system will reach 90% during the morning time or during the afternoon time, and automatically it will subside or it will reduce over the period of time. Maybe in the afternoon, it will automatically come. So some people will know this pattern, and if that is the case, then they need to ideally come and change the duration. See, for example, if they know like after 2 hours or after 6 hours, things will come down, then they can just configure the alarm for a longer duration rather than having alarms in a very short duration. Okay, so that alarms can be adjusted. But people, as you said, some support organization, they will continue to receive it, and if they are receiving it for third time or fourth time, they will go and take action. So ideally, so application owner wants to take action after 3 hours or 2 hours. Okay, so that's the thing. But over the period, if the knowledge transfer is not proper, they will start working in their own understanding, right? Because like it passes on from one team to another team without proper documentation or whatever. So that time, these kind of challenges might arise. Okay, but ideally, we need to go and update the alarms based on the historical pattern or understanding the business how it works, because when you do it at the initial time, you will not have a lot of clarity like that. Okay, how it is going to work, or whether the system is going to hit 90% for 1 hour or 2 hours because of the morning activity or some scheduled activity or scheduled job. So based on the business application pattern, you can change the stuffs at a later time. Okay, but ideal way is to go and update the alarm to match the application functionality or application way of working. Okay, so let's talk about the dashboards. This is also an interesting thing. Okay, so dashboard, it's mainly for the server operation center or the systems operation center. So in olden days, you might have heard about the network operation center, right? NOC team. So they will be looking at the visualized data on what is happening in a particular thing, whether the system is going down or utilization is going high, maybe some critical application. We might also need to have a eyeball monitoring to carefully look if there is something. Definitely, like we'll configure alarms, notifications, and stuff. But still, dashboarding is one more way of effectively or closely watching what's going on. Maybe we'll have some service desk team or level 1 team who will be having access to the dashboards. This is like a customized view of your system, right? So when I say customized view, you can for one specific application, you can monitor all the CPU utilization of all the systems. You can also monitor the network traffic. You can monitor the application traces, and everything can be monitored in a one single pane of glass using the dashboard view. Okay, so the dashboard view is a home page or a customizable console where you can add different metrics into one single view so that you can see the issues across the system. See, for example, it can be for one particular system, or it can be for one complete application also. When I say one complete application, so the application might have 3 tier or 4 tier or sometimes 2 tier or whatever, right? So all those tiers can be monitored in one single pane of glass, whether there is any issues on the database or whether there is any issues on the web server, whether there is any connectivity issues between web to app or app to database. So all these things can be combined together into one single view. And anything that is going wrong on any of the area, the level 1 team or service desk team will get to understand that there is some high utilization on the database that is causing the issues on the web and application layer in turn. And yeah, during peak events, you'll get to understand the high traffic or utilization. And this dashboard is mainly to understand what's going on at all the layers. Okay, so generally we will get alert and see, for example, database team might get to know about there is some database issues, and middleware team, they will get to know that there is something going wrong on the middleware. But other people, they might be starting to troubleshoot things, or they might not be aware of what's going on, and they will be working as a siloed team or a separate team. So in order to avoid that, the dashboards can give you a single consolidated access to all your resources belonging to a particular application or pertaining to a particular business unit, so that that business unit can have one or two resources monitoring the health status of the critical applications by looking at the screen or looking at the dashboard or the view. And then if there is something that they find, they can call out or notify the team and do it. For example, I'll just show you quick thing here. If you go to the dashboards, now the beautiful thing that Amazon has done recently is that they have provided automatic dashboards also. Earlier, this itself used to be a learning curve. Okay, we have, in order to create a dashboard, you need to kind of understand. This is, for example, I want to create it for XYZ application. Okay, I can go and add different dimensions for this thing. Okay, I can just add a line chart, and you can also combine multiple widgets. I can just add a metrics for it, and if that is going to monitor the memory on this AWS Linux, I can just go and add the memory utilization on the AWS Linux. And similarly, I can just add additional widget here. I just want to monitor the line for example, I want to look at the, okay, what is this log? Okay, this is call out log. Okay, that's fine. That should be a number. Okay, so here I can also just go and add. You can add the custom metrics, or you can add the regular metrics. Everything can be done. Okay, if I want to just capture some of the network traffic, and if I want to capture the CPU utilization, you can combine things also. You can have 2 or 3 things together. Okay, and you can also combine multiple metrics into one widget, or you can have one metric in one widget. So you can add all the different stuffs, and you can save it, and you can give the permission to a specific individual, or you can just share the dashboard with a specific team also. So they will monitor it closely, and if they find something, they will notify you. You can just resize it. You can just have a very it's like very user friendly. Okay, you can just move it, you can adjust it, you can just create a dashboard view based on what you need. And Amazon has given a very beautiful option that you can go and utilize the dashboard from them. For example, if you have a elastic beanstalk application, you can just take this thing. So all the different metrics will be populated. You just need to select the application and filter that resource, and automatically you will be able to start using it. See, for example, if I want to just monitor the Stan web app environment, I can just start using it immediately. Okay, so that's the beauty of, useful option of automatic dashboards. Okay, Amazon has recently introduced it. It was not there at the beginning, but now you have the automatic dashboard. You can go and create it for a EC2, for example. If I want to filter it by just EC2, and then so here you can see that it has started showing, not elastic beanstalk, it's EC2. Okay, here you can see that it is showing all the 3 VMs. If I want to filter it by a specific VM, I can just click on that. It will show only for that VM on all the screen. Okay, you can see that it has just filtered it for that particular VM. And similarly, if I want to see both these VMs, I can just select multiple VMs also here, or I can just select 1 or 2. Whatever way you want to filter it, you can filter it. So these are all automatic dashboard. You can see that it is giving me all the dimensions: CPU, disk, network, status check of the system, and you can also add additional things also. You can see that which system is started, stopped, running. So you need not create dashboards these days. Okay, you can go and use the automatic dashboard from Amazon. Amazon has given this option very recently. Okay, you can just go and pick up which service you want to monitor, and automatically the dashboard will get created. You can also create custom dashboard, but custom dashboard you have to pay for it. Automatic dashboards are cheaper. Okay, with that, I also have to go and clean the Elastic Beanstalk. I'm seeing a couple of resources there. Last week we created it, right? I've left it. I'll go and delete that. So after the session, after practicing, just delete it. That's important. Okay, it's taking time. Okay, meanwhile, I'll just check this logs quickly. Interesting. Okay, we'll try to see this again. But any questions on what you have seen so far? So we have a couple of more things that can be discussed, like container insights and traces, but we'll discuss that during the container session. Okay, so we have a last session on containers, basics to containers. We'll discuss on the container insights and X-ray, all those things at a later stage. So those tools are mainly for application level or microservices level monitoring. Okay, so Amazon has got some other solutions also, like X-ray, insights, and so on. So insights can be for application or containers and all those things. But X-ray is mainly for analyzing and debugging the microservices application or modern application. Okay, just let me just give you some high-level view for now. At least you can be aware of that. So this is for analyzing and debugging microservices architecture or containers or modern applications. Okay, so in simple, I would say serverless application. Okay, for serverless application, if you want to collect the traces or because like you don't have an operating system that you manage, right? So instead, you have the microservices distributed application. So in order to understand the connections from one container to another container or one microservice to another microservice, so you can use the X-ray to monitor the end-to-end request timeout or the request time it takes to complete a transaction, or it combines the data from all the microservices, and you will be able to view it in the X-ray console here. Someone is trying to speak up. Yeah, you can ask your question. I can continue after answering your question. Okay, I think that's something people came out of mistake. Okay, then that's fine. So container insight is closely related to your containers alone. So okay, then this X-ray can be integrated to one more service called Service Lens. This is very, very beautiful stuff. Okay, so it will it will show you how different things are connecting each other. So it will show you a graphical view, from web to app, how much time millisecond it is taking, from app to database, how much millisecond it is taking. So you will be able to visualize it and easily identify where exactly is the bottleneck. I'll show a demo during the container class on how to look at the container insights and Service Lens. So Service Lens is again a service which helps you with deeper insight or observability of different microservices system. So microservices will be distributed application architecture, right? You'll have at least hundreds of microservices. So in that environment, it will be very tough to understand where exactly the bottleneck is. So the Service Lens will give you a kind of lens view or a kind of zoomed view of what is happening end to end on your different distributed application, which application to which application the bottleneck is there, or where exactly the latency is there because of which customers are facing slowness. So that's the beauty of Service Lens, X-ray, and these insight tools. It will give you more granular detailed information on your serverless applications or containerized applications. I'll give you a demo on the container session. Okay, for now, let's not get too deep into the Service Lens or service map. Okay, so I'll show you that later. But on a very high level, any questions from anyone on the CloudWatch related topics that we have discussed today?
No, Stan.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So practice it. Okay. Try to do the labs. Okay. And as I told you, I've shown you 3 lab materials today, right? Installing the CloudWatch agent and collecting the metrics. I also showed you how to send the. Okay. This is something which we can quickly troubleshoot. But we have already done that. I don't know. Did we miss out any specific? Do you
Stanley,
monitor? Yeah. Uh-huh.
Stanley, do we have any order like the lab one, lab two? We can
Yeah,
proceed accordingly, right?
I have given numbers here,
And
right?
we
So you
will
have
be
to follow
having a
that.
proper sync, right?
Yeah, number lab 1, lab 2, lab 3, lab 4. You have numbers for that.
That will be the proper sequence, I believe, right? So we need to
You
follow the
can.
same.
Yeah, correct. So I mean, when you practice it for the first time, follow the sequence, and afterwards, like if you feel you want to practice multiple times, you can just selectively note. You can also have an Excel sheet where you can just mention how many labs you have completed, which labs you have doubts, or which labs you feel a little tough, so that you can get that done. Oh, okay, I think we made the configuration changes, but did we make the new configuration to take effect? I'm not sure. Okay, so that might be the problem, but let me do it. Maybe like when we come back tomorrow, we can also try to do it on a different system. If this is not working, I'm going to leave the system up and running until tomorrow. Okay, maybe we'll try to see. If it is not getting created tomorrow also, then I'll try to show you in a different system. Okay, it's the schema test. Okay, now only it's happening. Okay, so when you go and configure the additional log files to be collected, that's when the schema and these toml file and all will come in place. Maybe we did not, after making the configuration changes on the CloudWatch agent, we did not apply it. That's the reason the log group was not getting created. Maybe we'll wait for tomorrow, and when we come back, we'll check that first. If not, we'll complete the log actions and get into the next topic. So even we have got few more important topics coming up in the next week, like patching and cost optimization and other things, which is very important for the operations aspect. So tomorrow we'll connect on migration class, which is again very important. That migration itself is a separate responsibility, right? In a role, there are migration engineers and migration architects. So we'll try to discuss as much as possible. Okay, tomorrow we might not be able to complete early. We might have to have some break in longer break in between, and we'll go by the regular way instead of completing it early. Okay, so tomorrow is very important because we have a lot of ground to cover. We might have to complete it by 9:50, 9:30 in a regular way. Maybe we can reduce the dinner break by 10 minutes. Instead of 30 minutes, we'll have 20 minutes break, and then we'll try to cover it up. Okay, so I'll stop the recording. Okay, so we'll catch up.